Hey, it's only me. Stick around if you want to take the ACE test with me. Before we get started, here are the trigger warnings. ACE stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences, so it's just a way to kind of measure the adverse experiences you might have had in childhood that might affect your health as you get older. Before your 18th birthday, did a parent or other adult in the household often, or very often, swear at you, insult you, put you down, or humiliate you, or act in a way that made you feel afraid that you might be physically hurt? I have to say yes, because I did have the humiliation and I did have the, not that I was actually threatened, but I felt threatened by what was happening. Did a parent or other adult in the household often, or very often, push, grab, slap, or throw something at you, or ever hit you so hard that you had marks or were injured? That's a no for me. I was never hit. Did an adult or person at least 5 years older than you ever touch or fondle you, or have you touched their body in a sexual way, or attempt, or actually have oral, anal, or vaginal intercourse with you? This is obviously a yes for me. It's just awful. Ugh. I actually hate doing these. I find these so triggering. It's hard for me to even read that. Oh, it's gross, isn't it? Why am I laughing? Totally not a time to laugh. I'm finding this so funny, but I'm not really. It's just disturbing and I don't know what to do with that horror. I'm either gonna laugh or burst into tears, so I choose laughter, but I shouldn't really. Or I say I choose it. It just happens. I don't really know why. See, I'm doing it again. I'm still laughing. It's very depressing. This is a very depressing thing for me to go through. Did you frequently or fairly often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought that you were important or special? Or your family didn't look out for each other, feel close to each other, or support each other? That's a yes for me as well. I just didn't really feel that important or special in my family, and I think really that was due to the abuse and neglect. I just felt a bit like a drain on resources at times. I felt a bit like, what am I even doing here? Did you frequently or fairly often feel that you did not have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, and had no one to protect you? Or your parents were too drunk or high to take care of you or take you to the doctor if you needed it? So that's a yes for me too. I very often went hungry and I really didn't feel protected at all. I never felt safe. So did a parent pass away, or were your parents ever separated or divorced? That's a yes for me as well. My parents were divorced. Were one of your parental figures often or very often pushed, grabbed, slapped, or had something thrown at them? Or sometimes, often, or very often, kicked, bitten, hit with a fist, or hit with something hard, or ever repeatedly hit over at least a few minutes, or threatened with a gun or knife? That's a yes for me too, unfortunately. Do have a parental figure threatened with a gun. I grew up in America, so gun violence is a real thing for people who are really not supposed to have guns. Did you live with anyone who was a problem drinker or alcoholic or used street drugs? That's a yes for me. I did have a parental figure who used street drugs. Yeah. And prescription drugs, I remember that too. It was all very disturbing, to be honest. Very scary for a child. Was a household member depressed, suffer from acute mental health issues, or did a household member attempt suicide? Yes, I did have a family member who was mentally ill. Did a household member go to prison? That's another yes for me. I did have a stepfather who went to prison. So that concludes our test. Let me know your score. I got 9 out of 10. It was very depressing. This is a really great tool if you minimize what happened to you like I did. I usually see my past is not really that big of a deal. Other people have it worse. It's not really something that affected me that much, but actually when I use this tool and I take the ACE test, it does make me realize that it was that bad and that I went through a lot of adverse things as a child that other kids don't have to deal with. And actually, It's a miracle that I was able to kind of overcome those experiences. So if you've been through a lot and your ACE score is really high, then be a bit easy on yourself and realize how far you've come, because it is really hard to overcome those sort of experiences, and statistically we shouldn't. Statistically, I should not have been able to overcome all of this. There are some experiences and some things that might make it a bit easier for you to overcome, such as having really supportive family members who you can speak to, feeling like there are people you can trust, having a good social network, and things like that might actually make it to where these traumas in your life don't affect you as badly. And then of course there are other experiences that might make your trauma worse. So growing up in a really bad area of town where there's lots of gang violence or gun violence, that's going to be harder for you then to overcome the problems you're already experiencing at home. If you did get a low score on your ACE test but you feel you had a lot of trauma in your childhood, that is absolutely possible. So don't feel like this is the be all and end all of testing trauma in your childhood. This is just one tool to help you assess what happened in your childhood and how it might affect you as an adult. See you next time. I've done that one, and I'm doing it twice now. Ugh, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started, because we'll just get off topic and we'll end up in a big rant. So I'm not going to talk about gun violence in America and how it made my life miserable as a child. Another yes? Why am I looking down? Another yes. I can't look you in the eye when I say yes. I don't know why. Good. I feel good about that. I feel really good about that.